you put it in drive, it's, I mean, yeah, it bangs in the gear, but it's kind of calm where it doesn't, you know, won't mess you up. But if you actually pull it down in the manual mode, it's responsive like you're the one manually pushing the gears. Yep. Wow.
It's instant, man.
This thing boogies.
Oh yeah, for it being a 4,000-pound pig, like,
man, this thing boogies.
Oh yeah, and that's on pump. So imagine if he does E.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Nick from Soho Motorsports, and today we're going to talk about Doug's 2014 Infiniti Q50. You may have seen this one on the channel before. Let's talk about this second round of upgrades that we just did. Since the first time that we boosted this car, it's always been one of my favorite builds. I do say that a lot on a lot of these cars. However, this one is a fun one because it's a unique build. It's a 2014 Infiniti Q50 and it's boosted. And now we've also added something else to the mix. We've also put a VR transmission in this setup, and he went from the old belt setup in the back end to the new cog setup. So let's dive into this. So what did we do on this second go round? As with anybody, once they come here, they always say, I'm okay on power, I'm good. And then what happens? The bug hits. They want more power, and this is what happened here. How do I make a little bit more power and still stay on pump gas? So with this setup, switching over to the cog setup, it actually allows us to make a little bit more boost. Based off of research, we've seen that we're making about 1 to 1.5 PSI more over the previous setup, and we're not noticing any belt slip, which is a plus. Because if you were very familiar with the old setup, a lot of times you would get to a point where you would start to notice belt slip on the top end. After a few miles on the vehicle, the belt would fatigue. Obviously, you have to go in there and use a tensioner, tighten it up, and get a little bit more pressure on that belt to make more boost. With this thing being a mechanical driven setup on the back end, it's consistent every single time. So it's gonna make the power every single time. It's gonna come in sooner. There's a lot of benefits to this new cog setup, and now that we have a fix for it, I want the world to know that this is the setup to go with. This is a great setup. If you're looking to go supercharged, you're looking to go boost, hit us up. We can take care of it for you and get you boosted. Now, with the cog setup, the only other modification that we did on this setup is we installed the VR transmission from the Q50 Q60 3.0 twin turbo model. Now, we took the actual transmission out of that platform, swapped the TCM, put the VHR TCM, still keeping the VR valve body in the car, and bam, that is the setup now. So if you're looking to have a great setup, you're looking to have an automatic transmission that can handle the power, VR transmission, VHR TCM, VR torque converter valve body, that's the equation. That's gonna make the power every single time, and it's gonna last. Let's talk power. What did we see as far as power on this setup? So as you can see, this thing has the blue pulley on the front, which is the 5 PSI pulley. Originally, he had the 8 PSI pulley, and when we had the 8 PSI pulley with the new cog setup, we were seeing excess of 14 PSI. Now, as I've said before, 14 PSI on pump gas, high compression is not a good equation. So we had to drop down to the 5-pound pulley. When we dropped down to the 5-pound pulley, we were just under the 14 pounds. On some occasions, we did hit 14 PSI. However, that is going to be a safe setup for pump gas. And you'll see on one of the settings here, what we did is we also included some boosting, which is gonna be a fuel additive or a fuel octane booster. Let's talk numbers. What did this car do? So he's got 3 maps. I'll pull them up and we'll talk about them. The first map is gonna be a very conservative tune, 14 PSI, 515 wheel, 380 foot-pounds of torque. Second, a little bit more aggressive on the tune per ignition timing. He's gonna see 566 and 404 foot-pounds of torque. Now, the last setting we use boostane, which is gonna be the octane booster that I'm referring to. When we use the boostane, it bumps up the octane to about 100 octane. So when we did that, we saw 588 and 417 foot-pounds of torque at 14 PSI. That is great power. Great power on a car that weighs almost 4,000 pounds or weighs more than 4,000 pounds. It's all-wheel drive. This car is gonna be quick, it's very fast, and it's on pump gas. So with this thing going on E on the next go around, which I feel is going to be the next go around, it's gonna be a monster. We should see 630, 640 wheel on E very easily. And so this car also does have the upgraded flex plate from Fast Intention. So it's got the setup to support the torque. Like I say in previous videos, 400 foot-pounds of torque on an automatic transmission, regardless if it's a VR or a VHR, the stock flex plate is going to break. It's going to fail over time. You may be lucky and get a little bit of life out of it. However, it will fail over time. So make sure you upgrade your flex plates. Fast Extension flex plate, Z1 has a flex plate. Contact those two companies and get your flex plate so you can make the power, and then contact us to go boost. Let's go for a ride with Robert, or let's go for a ride with Justin. He hasn't driven one of these. Let's see what his thoughts are on this one.
Me and Justin in the 2014 Q50. We're in Doug's Q50. So this is gonna be your first.
It's my first, embarrassingly, it's my first time driving this car because, man, this thing's been coming to us for a while now. Did the supercharger kit last year, and now it's back for VR transmission, our new Soho cog kit. It's just, yeah, it's an awesome driving car, man. You got a family, you got a bunch of friends like riding with you. This is
the way to do it, right?
This is the way to do it. Not only is the Q50 with a supercharger awesome, but this is a wolf in wolf's clothing because Doug has it looking amazing on the outside. Like, it looks like he's done a big brake kit since the last time it was with us, and
yep.
Yeah, a lot of super cool stuff, and it did just shy of 600 horsepower on automatic, which is amazing. So I mean, you're just cruising, driving Miss Daisy, got some groceries, and you put your foot to the floor,
and it's gone.
And it's gone.
And that's in drive too, so.
That was triple digits.
Yeah.
That fast, triple digits.
Yep. So that's the nice thing about the VR, man. It's instant. Like I said, it's like the inexpensive DCT version, right?
It's extremely fast. It's extremely responsive. You put it in drive, I mean, yeah, it bangs in the gear, but it's kind of calm where it doesn't, won't mess you up. But if you actually pull it down in the manual mode, it's responsive like you're the one manually pushing the gears.
Yep.
Wow!
It's instant, man.
This thing boogies.
Oh yeah, for it being a 4,000-pound pig, like,
man, this thing boogies.
Oh yeah, and that's on pump. So imagine if he does E.
Yeah, it's on pump. So with the new cog style setup, one of the things that we've been seeing on a lot of our setups, and based on a lot of research we've been doing, is pretty much everything that's on pump gas has to go down to a 7-pound pulley if it's on a blower guard, because the kits, being it's a mechanical drive versus a friction drive, we'll see 1 to 1.5 pounds more boost. So you get out of the realm of safety on 93 just a little bit.
Yep.
And then once you get out of that, obviously you want to step it down. So I mean, the boost plot's linear. You could, y'all, when I'm telling you it's linear, you could literally put a ruler on the graph and just draw a straight line.
Yep.
Like, that's what the graph looks like. And it's amazing, and it's extremely responsive. And I mean, you don't have to worry about, is my belt too tight? Am I losing power because my serpentine belt's loose?
Correct.
That's a thing of the past.
Yep.
It's not a concern anymore. So, and I mean, the kit's amazing no matter what car, but this whole car just as a package is
nuts, right?
I'm in love. I love this car.
It's instant, it makes power, it's consistent, it looks good. It's the whole package.
And it's on pump. It's on pump 93. Like,
yep.
My man's, he's gonna drive it home like 10+ hours today.
Yep.
Which is amazing. So more power to you, man. This is great. What a wild thing you have.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's definitely gonna enjoy this. 10 hours of fun. Hopefully you get no tickets. So if you do, don't call us.
No, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Once again, we thank you, Doug, for giving us the opportunity. Catch us on the next episode, guys.